Welcome to the Retro Blood.
Well, welcome back, everybody, to the Retro Blood. As we start off a brand new month here in the month of July, talking some 1980s creatures of the animal kingdom that will haunt your very soul, that will haunt your very being. Man is not made to tamper or made to challenge the wildlife creatures that we will explore this month here on the Retro Blood. Because up first, if y'all like stories of a young girl randomly just getting a baby alligator to go home with, which I'm pretty sure that's very illegal. If you like the dad throwing said alligator in the toilet, all right, and faking the death to a young girl. If you like said alligator devouring chemically tested, hormone tested, geo-tested dogs in the sewers and growing to the size of a station wagon car, eating stuff, blowing up. And if you like David Foster getting teased about his hairline the whole movie, then this is the show for you, because the Retro Blood is talking all about Alligator. J.H. Alison, James Kline, what's happening, Alison? How's your escaping an alligator that was flushed through a toilet that ate chemically unbalanced dog fetuses?
Fantastic, man. I love this movie. I've wanted to do this movie since we started doing this show, and I'm super excited that we're finally doing it, and I'm glad that you're seeing it for the first time.
Yeah.
And it's Robert Forster. He played a character named David in the movie.
Oh, what did I say? What did I say, David?
You said David Forster.
Well, I guess he goes by Bobby. That's like his that's like his short name. Yeah, but Robert Forster. Yeah, he's a good one.
He's a great actor.
There's actually a fun story with him and the producer guy, or the production assistant on this, when I was doing my research about the film, I could not believe at all. But we'll get there. It's kind of a fun one. But yeah, this movie was okay. Like, it wasn't like my super cup of tea, but I did enjoy the pacing of it. I did like it how they kept making fun of Robert, don't call me Bob, his hairline throughout the whole film, which was funny. He randomly got the girl, kind of like Tom Atkins did in Halloween 3. I thought that was kind of funny. Yeah, I mean, I liked the way they did the effects and everything with the alligator devouring people and eating them. Obviously, you could tell this movie was, I don't say it was a Jaws ripoff, because I think it was made maybe like a year after Jaws or something like that, but it's definitely in the same vein of, having like this big, huge creature terrorize the town.
Yeah, but it was... Jaws was big. Let's make something like that for sure.
Yeah, definitely. That's probably why they got the funding.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, there was a lot of movies around that time that got funding because of Jaws.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm sure you'll get to this, but the guy that made the alligator for this made the shark for Jaws, but this worked a lot better.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. There's some fun little stuff on this movie that I could not believe when it comes to the production side of it. But yeah, I mean, like, from some quick thoughts, but I thought some of the acting was definitely done. I mean, obviously they actually had some pretty prominent actors in this film. The storyline was pretty creative, I would say. I did like it where they had like a little I guess it was like one of those urban myths of the way, because I guess it was like a New York thing where they thought that there was big alligators in the sewers. You know what I mean?
Yes. So yeah, that was like an urban myth, like in this. Well, actually, I think it goes all the way back to the early part of the 20th century. But like I know in like the 50s and the 60s and maybe into the 70s, at least, there was like an urban myth that there are alligators in the sewers, and you hear it in other media too, not just stuff like this, but that there are alligators in the sewers.
Yeah.
And the idea, and it's not, and there is some truth to that. There have been alligators found in sewers, but not in New York City.
Yeah.
But like, there have been alligators found in sewers. They're in Florida. They're in sewers quite a bit, but I mean, that is the natural habitat of the alligator there.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. But I have not seen this movie in years, many years. Still love it just as much as I always did. But there's some things that middle-aged me finds more funny than teenage me found. Yeah. So I'll talk about those when we get there.
Well, the movie, couple things. First of all, the only thing that's creeping around New York sewers is the Ninja Turtles. Thank you.
Yes.
All right.
They kill all the alligators. Yeah. Keep us from...
yeah. Duh. Yeah. They fighting all the super shredders down there, saving us from the creatures that live in the sewers. All right.
Yeah.
But another thing is, with this movie, we'll get to some of what we talk about who booked this shit. But when they were writing the script and directing it, they realized because of the style of the alligator and how it walked and stuff, where it looked a little goofy, they decided to lean more towards like the comedy. Now it's not like Saturday the 14th comedy where it sucked.
No,
it was more like lighthearted comedy that was on there.
Yeah, because my understanding is that when John Sayles, so they had a script originally, and the Lewis Teague hated it, so he had John Sayles rewrite it.
Yeah.
Now John Sayles is a really well respected screenwriter. Like he's written some very good movies. Lone Star is one of them that I was thinking of. But yeah, supposedly from what I was read, that he thought that no one would really take this movie too seriously, so he wanted to put humor in it.
Yeah.
It's not. He says the quote I read was, he said, "This is not a horror film; it's a comedy." But I don't think he meant that literally. Like I don't think it's supposed to be a comedy. I think it's just he just meant that he wanted to put humor in it, so people would have something to laugh at and not take it so seriously, which he did very well.
Yeah. I guess they kind of made it a little bit more lighthearted on certain parts. Like, especially when we had that reporter guy where he's all like, "Hey, you're pretty cute and everything. This is the sounds that the alligator sounds like when he's mating." I mean, like some shit like that. That just randomly in there. All right.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one's a fun one though. I enjoyed it for what it was. But let's talk about it. We got a lot to talk about when it comes to who booked this shit on here. So this one was obviously screenplay, like you said, was made by John Sayles. All right. And this was directed by Lewis. All right. What's his last name? Tengu?
Lewis Teague. We've talked about him before.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to remember which movie that we did that he did. Did we do Cat's Eye on the show?
I don't think so.
Okay, he directed that. I swear we have talked about this guy before, but I cannot think of what movie we would have done that he directed. I don't know. So I guess maybe we haven't talked about him, but it would seem weird. It just like I have this memory of us talking about Lewis Teague as a director, but maybe not. Maybe not.
We can't talk
but he directed Cujo. He directed Cujo, which is another deadly animal movie that we'll probably be doing at some point.
So it seems to be his forte. It's the deadly animals. All right, so, and obviously this one had a pretty good cast. Obviously Robert Forster, who would become to be a pretty prominent actor throughout his years of acting. So I'll when I get to the production assistant part, that's the part that kind of blew me away. But before we get there, all right, this is what the development basically was. All right, so the film was first announced by producer Brandon Chase in 1976. Chase was inspired by the urban legend of alligators living in the sewers, like we talked about. In particular, an account of alligators being found in New York City. All right, there you go, brother. So basically what happened was the Ninja Turtles, they weren't fully trained yet, so that's why they had alligators down there.
Yeah, they weren't fully formed. They weren't fully grown yet.
So in 1977, he announced that the film would be set in Wisconsin and made for $1.8 million in Georgia, of which $1,000 was made to make the alligator. All right. Chase had enjoyed success with Giant Spider Invasion, the Giant Spider Invasion.
Which is another movie. Yeah, I have. It's another movie that takes place in Wisconsin.
There you go.
In Merrill, Wisconsin, actually, which is like one town over from where I used to live.
They got a bunch
when I
of
lived in
crazy shit.
Wisconsin.
They got a bunch of crazy shit going on in Wisconsin or something.
Yeah. Wisconsin's a pretty insane place. Everyone in Wisconsin is crazy. I love all of my Wisconsin people, but they're all crazy.
All I know is that 70s show. Wasn't that in Wisconsin?
That takes place in southern Wisconsin.
There you go. That's
I believe.
So audience today are looking for something different. He said, huge things coming from outer space or popping up from sewers are different. All right. So now this is when Chase, he signed on Lewis to direct. All right. And Lewis would say about, the production stuff. We built a 36-foot alligator out of the rubber with an aluminum frame that was made so the legs could move. And two very strong men with powerful legs who would have to carry the weight got inside. One man had his legs in the front, the other in the rear, and they would walk. This wasn't my idea. I had been very skeptical about it because I had heard about all the problems that Steven Spielberg had with his giant rubber shark when he made Jaws. I knew the history of the film, and they only used the rubber shark in a few shots. For the most part, he had to create scary scenes from a certain point of view. So I had my doubts about this rubber alligator, but the producer had already started spending money to build it before I got hired to direct the film. So basically, because of this, he was saying too that he had to do something similar to Steven Spielberg, where he had to he didn't want to film the alligator for long periods of time because you could tell that it would be kind of fake,
Yes.
So that's why we got a lot of quick shots with it, which makes sense, Yeah.
My favorite part of this is where he says, "This wasn't my idea."
Yeah, this was my idea, brother. Yeah, I didn't book it. All right, come on.
I didn't book this. So
he also said he just made Lady in the Red from a script by John Sayles. All right, so he's familiar with him. He also disliked the script for Alligator and pursued Chase to hire Sayles to rewrite it. All right. Sayles said, it wasn't a good script. The alligator lived in a sewer for the whole movie. It never got above ground. So they changed
that would be boring.
Yeah. So they changed it to make it more of a better movie script. Sayles said the original draft had the alligator grow from drinking from a brewery. That's awesome.
Which makes no sense. Why
what are you talking about, brother? Hello? You don't grow when you drink beer?
Well, only my belly.
Golly. I need to start drinking.
Is that how you get all your gains? Through
yeah.
You don't worry about macros or protein. No. You just drink beer and it makes your muscles big.
Yeah, exactly. This is beer field, brother. All right? This is like Popeye over here. God, what kind of... So you're telling me this alligator is just going to get drunk and just grow huge from beer? I love it.
The only thing I can think of is obviously Wisconsin is known for its beer, or in the past it has been it's a big brewery state. So they're just well, it's going to take place in Wisconsin. Let's just have it drink from a brewery and grow giant.
Duh.
What? That makes perfect fucking sense.
What do you think he's doing? An IPA? All right.
No, boo on IPAs.
He ain't doing no sour, brother. All right. He needs that fucking porter. He needs that porter beer.
He needs a porter. Drink your stouts and porters and your lagers.
He needs to grow big. So Sayles said it never made sense why it would be a giant alligator. He said they killed this alligator at an old abandoned sawmill. Someone had left the power on at the old abandoned sawmill, and someone had left a chainsaw laying around the old abandoned sawmill. They plugged the chainsaw in and threw it into the alligator's mouth. This is how the alligator died, I guess. All the alligators thrashing around didn't even pull the plug out. Even as the chainsaw cut him to bits. Sayles rewrote the whole script on a cross-country flight from New York to Los Angeles.
Yeah, which takes about 5.5, 6 hours.
Yeah. And
so he wrote the whole script in 6 hours, essentially.
Yeah, and then the director, too, he did say that Sayles is known to do fast, good script writing. He was actually praised for that. So Sayles said, my original idea was that the alligator eats its way through the whole ecosystem, right? And it comes out of the sewer in the ghetto.
Yes.
Then goes to a middle-class neighborhood, then out to the suburbs, and then to a real kind of high-rent area, which it kind of did throughout the whole movie.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of in the movie. Yeah.
And then there's still of their on screen, but they couldn't shoot so many scenes, which makes the alligator move so fast that you didn't get the progression. Because, it was very slow moving alligator. So basically, it was just kind of like they didn't see him walking towards a lot of those places, but they would just see him here laying around those places, basically.
Yeah, but I mean, what they're saying is they didn't have enough time to show the alligator moving from those different settings.
Yeah.
But that's very Jaws-like, though. Like, when you think about that, because like in Jaws, if you remember, like they didn't care about the shark eating people until it affected, the business owners and things like that. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, let's hire somebody to kill it. Yeah. And this kind of happens in this movie too, when they care, but they don't really care until it like starts attacking that guy's wedding.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, we got to kill this thing.
Yeah. I mean, they wouldn't even believe our boy fucking David throughout the whole film.
Yeah.
It's like, you lost two partners, brother. We're not believing you.
Because that's the only thing that in this movie that makes sense, that they wouldn't believe him.
Yeah.
That there is an alligator, because like, I cannot think of a scenario if you're not living in Florida where you would have an alligator attacking anything and you not try to kill it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make any sense to me, but it makes drama for the movie though.
So Sayles said Robert Foster had input to his character. All right. Of course, because he was I wouldn't say he was like a super big deal, but he was pretty big deal at this time.
He was, yeah.
He was having a hair problem. Oh, yeah, no shit. All right. And Lewis said, I don't know. I don't think it looks that bad. And Foster said, what if I start working it in? And gave him a few lines about it. It gave the actor something to do apart from, look, watch out and duck. So it was his idea to be like, hey, can you just tell everybody, like, tell them my hair sucks and I'm balding?
Which I think is kind of cool. And it added some humor to it and added more to his character.
Yeah, exactly.
And that was kind of funny when I read it because Robert Foster had been a big actor.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a big deal at this time. Like, he was a major actor, but like he had been in a lot of things. But now he's like, he's in his 40s at this point when he's making this. So, and as you probably know, when you get above 40, certain things with your body start changing, and some people have hair loss and that kind of thing. So it's kind of funny that he's dealing with this at the time, and then they work it into the movie itself. But yeah, I love Robert Forster. He's one of my favorite actors.
Yeah, he's still going strong on some stuff. All right, so 10 years later said he wanted to make the film scary. This is what we talked about a little earlier, but sort of the change course right before we started shooting. This happened because when he tested the alligator, everyone burst into laughter. All right. I thought, this is a comedy. This isn't going to be a scary film. So we better tell a funny story. John Sayles wrote a very witty script with a lot of funny lines that was effective. I did try to put it in a few scary scenes, but they turned out to be not that very scary. I would say, I don't think the scenes that the scenes where the alligator is like eating people and like devouring them, that's pretty freaky. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I don't like this. There's nothing really scary about the film, but it is pretty, like, there is some disturbing scenes I thought they had on there.
Yeah. I mean, like, I don't know if I agree with what he's saying though. No. Like, okay, you're right. I don't find the movie scary, but I also didn't find Jaws scary either.
Exactly. But it's disturbing.
But disturbing. Yeah. But like, when I see this, like, I actually watched this movie twice this week. Yeah. Well, 1.5 times. We'll say I didn't finish it the second time, but like, I think that the alligator looked amazing.
Yeah.
And like, it's a discussion we can have later on about the merits of actual physical special effects versus CGI, which we would get now.
Yeah.
But I thought that the movie, the alligator looked amazing, and in some shots they used real alligators on miniature sets to make it look larger, and in some cases I couldn't tell which was the animatronic alligator and which was a real alligator. And if that's the case, if in some scenes I'm not sure, and if that's the case, then I think they did a fucking good job on this damn alligator.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Like, the movies like nowadays, or even maybe like the early 2000s and stuff like that, would have some sort of CGI alligator that just gonna look fucking ridiculous.
And it would look fake, and it would move weird and jerky, and
So Sayles said, there was a lot of good stuff I wrote that never got shot. All right, whole subplots because this alligator couldn't cut it. This alligator couldn't do the things they said it could do. It couldn't go in the water, for instance. So they had kind of. There were some water shots, but I think he meant like it couldn't like swim throughout the water. Because,
of course not. I mean, what would you expect though?
Yeah. So,
I was gonna say there's two people in this alligator, right? Like, we don't need stuntmen drowning.
Exactly.
Also, fun fact: one of the stuntmen that operated the alligator was Kane Hodder.
Oh shit! There you go. That makes sense.
Before he was in Friday the 13th, of course, but yeah, he was one of the two guys that operated the alligator.
So here's a story that I didn't know about. And
I can't wait to hear this.
This is going to be great because I was like shocked when I was watching this. So just to break everything down, I just want to show you guys something because me and Alison are big into physical media. So for this review, I have purchased the Alligator 4K Steelbook. All right.
Yes.
Which is pretty badass cover. I like it. Even though I don't remember seeing any helicopters in the film. But there's one
there was a helicopter. Yeah, there's a helicopter flying above the city looking for the alligator. I don't really show how you'd see an alligator from a helicopter. Well, it is 40 feet long.
Pretty sweet.
Yeah.
We got the opening inside. It comes with a couple different versions of the film, which I thought was pretty cool. So apparently it comes with a 4K scan, which is the one I watched.
Yeah.
There's a TV cut of this film, which is nice. Okay. And they got the original Blu-ray that has all the extras on there. All right. So everybody go check it out. It's actually available now. All right.
Yeah. So everybody, I need to buy this before it goes away because Walmart has it. So I need to buy it at Walmart.
Everybody anytime there's a Steelbook, if it's a cool movie and like that, I always try to pick it out. What's up, Kitty? Yeah. You a big fan of the alligator, Kitty?
He did watch the whole movie with me sitting in the chair. Like,
what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts about the alligator moving, Kitty? What's your thoughts?
He's more interested in something else right now. Why did you come through this way? Like you could have come around the other way and been fine.
There you go.
There you go.
No, go sit down. He just makes his he makes his weekly cameo on here.
Go sit down over there. You go, buddy.
He's like big leaguing us. It's like everybody just comes to see me. All right. But okay, so the most interesting part. So when I go on to the Blu-ray extras, all right.
Yeah.
I click on the first one, just to kind of go through them and see what's going on. So there's this guy talking, right? And apparently he was the special effects assistant plus, producer assistant. And I'm looking at this guy. I'm like, man, this guy looks fucking familiar. And I'm watching him talk. And I'm like, wait a minute. So I paused it. I went into the good old Google machine. I looked up Alligator. I went through who was the production guy for it. And to my surprise, of all people, Mr. Walter White himself, all right, Brian Karsten was the special effects artist of this film, and he worked on the production side of the film. And they have a whole interview with him on the Steelbook, all right, talking about his time making this film.
Wow.
So the story is basically he was doing like local commercials at the time. Just some commercials with putting on suits and stuff. And he got approached to work on this film Alligator, but they've been doing the production. And like he's like super early into his, career. So it's like, I'll take whatever job, man. You know what I mean? Just to get my name out there. All right. So he ended up doing basically the special effects side. So his major job, he said, was he would have to dig and go inside the alligator and stuff it with blood and guts for the big explosion at the end.
At the end, yeah.
All right. So that was that was his main job. Like he started off being like a production assistant, but he basically did a lot of the special effects. All right. So he would rig the alligator with all the guts and stuff, the explosion and stuff. And his job was basically going out and buying the corn syrup, all right, and keep on buying it. All right. So he did. So in this interview, he was like talking about his experience on here. I'm just like, wait, you're telling me that one of the most famous, prominent actors of the 2000s, especially being in one of the most famous TV shows of all time, Breaking Bad, was stuffing alligator guts in this fucking film.
You got to start somewhere, brother.
You got to start somewhere, man. I could not believe it. So he also gave this story, which I thought was super cool. He said, like, when he was working on this film, he liked a lot of the actors on the film. Like, a lot of the people, there's some people from TV shows he liked and everything. Yeah. So he was kind of like starstruck a little bit. But he said one time he was getting to the studio, and of all people, all right, Robert Forster jumped into the same cab as him. All right, and this guy's like super young. You know what I mean? That'd be like, one of us if, like, I don't know, Brad Pitt walked into the fucking, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fucking cab. You're like, oh shit, you're like the star of this fucking movie that I'm helping on. You know what I mean? Obviously he was a fan too. And so he was kind of shy talking to the guy. And first of all, the guy he said, like, hey, just call me Bob. All right. And they're talking every time. He's like, hey, what do you do on the film? He's like, well, I'm the special effects guy. Basically feed the alligator guts. He's like, oh shit, that's pretty cool. So they had like this very small conversation. All right. And then it all came back where they were filming season 5 of Breaking Bad almost 30 years later.
Right.
Where Robert Forster and Bryan Cranston were in the same scene together. All right.
Okay. All right.
And Bryan was all like, hey, do you remember, like, when you were making Alligator that you talked to some young production guy in a cab? And Robert's like, I have no idea what you're talking about. He's like, yeah, you talked to me in the cab. We had like this conversation. He was like, oh, that's cool. All right. And then he was all like, oh, that's cool that we're working back here. And it's like, and then he's all saying like, hey, I like, your set here. I like the Breaking Bad cast. I like everything over here. So, but it's just pretty crazy to think, man, like, I had no idea that this guy, Bryan Cranston, like made his way up like that. You know what I mean?
Which is super cool. And he didn't try to big time him or anything. He's like, you're on my show now, bitch.
Yeah, no, exactly. No. He was just like,
now you're stuffing the alligator guts.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But that's crazy to think, man, because, obviously he grew up, Bryan, it's really cool to see him progress. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because he went from, I knew him originally from Malcolm in the Middle TV show.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But, bro, once Breaking Bad happened, I mean, that's pretty much what he's known for. But he's also done some good characters after that, too, in some pretty prominent movies. You know what I mean?
He was in Godzilla.
Yeah, exactly. So
one thing about Bryan Cranston, he's like one of those people that I didn't know who he was until I saw him on Malcolm in the Middle, where he was already middle-aged or whatever.
Yeah.
So to me, I can't imagine Bryan Cranston as a young person. Like, he's always been old to me. Like, he's always been like 40 or 50 years old. Not that that's old, because I'm at that point now myself. But I'm just saying that, like, to me, I always think of him as like, I can't imagine him as a young man working on this movie.
I know. That's crazy.
But that's a really cool story. I mean, of course, he didn't remember 20, 30 years later or whatever. But still, I mean, that's a cool story, though. That's a really cool story.
So I thought it was fun. And the whole interview was on the 4K Steelbook, so everybody check it out if you want to hear the full interview. They also got an interview with the director and the writer, too. So very fun stuff on here. So I also like this, too. And then we'll get into the full film. Apparently, in an interview, the filmmaker Quentin Tarantino said that Robert Forster's character, David Madison, inspired the character of Max Cherry, also played by Forster, for his 1997 film Jackie Brown.
Yeah, I can see that because I'm as a lot of people, as you and a lot of people here know, I'm a huge Quentin Tarantino fan, and I've seen his movies many, many, many times. But they're very similar characters.
Yeah,
and I kind of figure that Robert Forster is one of those people that just kind of plays himself. Like he kind of,
pretty much,
he's kind of like Christopher Walken. Like he plays every character the same way in a certain extent. But yeah, I can see that. Like I can see how this character would be a huge influence on the Max Cherry character, because he I don't know how to articulate it in words, but he kind of like interacts with people the same way. Like he interacts with Jackie Brown the same way that he interacts with Robin Riker's character on this movie. But yeah, I can see that, and I think that's really cool. And it's cool that Quentin Tarantino likes this movie.
Yeah, well, you know, Quentin Tarantino, he's a big horror fan.
He is.
So,
he is.
So this movie is also released on November 14th, 1980 in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Budget was $1.6 million. Made about half that. You know what I mean? At the box office.
Sad.
So not like super great, but, you know, obviously had a pretty big cult following afterwards. And it is actually does have a sequel.
It does.
It's a direct-to-video sequel, Alligator 2, The Mutation, that we may or may not be doing. All right.
Hint, hint.
Hint, hint. But, everybody, I say let's get into it. Let's get into the full breakdown of Alligator.
Let's do it.
It lives 50 feet beneath the streets. It's 36 feet long. It weighs over 2,000 pounds. And it's about to break out.
We're looking at the one who saw it. And it was big.
You said it was dark. Now, perhaps you're mistaken. Alligator half that size would starve in a week. He kept coming up with some garbage about alligators in the sewers.
Alligators in the sewers?
Once it escaped, there was no way to stop it.
The safety of the public is my job.
It could be anywhere.
There he is.
Ready to attack at any moment.
I've seen what this animal can do. You'd better take all the help you can get.
Keep coming. At first, no one believed it. Now, no one will forget. Alligator.
So we begin. It's 1968.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We're seeing an alligator performance show where the alligator trainer sucks at his job because he tripped over a piece of wood, and then the alligator starts biting him all over. And I like it where the announcer guy was like, all right, he's like doing normal announcing. And he's like, all right, don't worry about it, everybody, just part of the show.
Yeah. Yeah, so he's like an alligator wrestler, I think.
Yeah.
And he's supposed to be wrestling alligators, and he fucks up, and then the alligator bites him.
Yeah.
And then they beat the alligator with sticks to get it off of him. Like I don't know, they should just let the alligator eat that fucking guy. Fuck that guy.
They also said like, yeah, everybody, you know, when you wrestle alligators, sometimes the alligators win.
Yep, sometimes they do. And in case they did, so
this is when we have a young girl, all right, which will later be on. She would be a alligator expert. She actually purchased a young baby alligator to take home with her. Is that legal?
So I looked it up, and I don't think it's actually legal to transport it across state lines. But apparently, and I don't know what the law was in 1968, but apparently in Florida, you can have an alligator as a pet that's under 4 feet long if you have a permit for it. Because, of course, you can, because it's Florida.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, because it was some tourist trap, Florida, and of course they just give that shit away for a good buck. All right.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure, like, I don't know how I know this, but I'm pretty sure, like, in the 60s, like, you could go and buy an alligator in Florida, a baby alligator, and I think that was a huge moneymaker for some people.
Yeah, and the lone girl, her name is Marissa, all right, and she will later be a, what is it called, a herpetologist?
I think it's a herpetologist.
Yeah, herpetologist, brother.
Yeah, right. She's a reptile expert.
Yeah, reptile expert. She mostly likes snakes. All right.
Yeah.
So she names the baby alligator Ramon. All right.
Which I think is hilarious.
That is funny. All right, and then when they get basically the dad freaks out about it, saying, "I'm not gonna have no baby alligator in here. We're just gonna like flush it down the drain like we did those mice." All right. So that's when he takes the animal, throws it down the drain, and they're just gonna tell her like, "Oh yeah, he just passed away." All right.
Mm-hmm.
So now,
and they're in Missouri.
Yeah, they're in Missouri.
I don't know if you mentioned that. They go back to Missouri.
Yeah, they go home to Misery, as I like to call it. All right.
And you're not far off.
Yeah, there you go. So the baby alligator survives by feeding on the discarded carcasses of pet animals. So basically, there's this old rich guy, who has a company where they do experimental, illegal experimentations on dogs to make them grow or something like that.
Yeah, so this part was a little confusing to me at first, but yeah, apparently it's like they kidnap dogs. Like they hire that guy that is going around in the truck to steal dogs off the street. And then they're doing some kind of like experiments to make them grow faster. And I think that what they're trying to do is they're trying to create a way to make feed animals grow quicker. Mm-hmm. Which, you know, has been dealt with in stories and movies like Food of the Gods and things like that. But they're trying to make them grow quicker. And then the dogs get away again, and then the alligator eats them. And then that's what makes the alligator grow so big and so fast.
Yeah. Because
remember, like they find that dead dog. And then the lady that's looking at it says, but she fit into this like 2 weeks ago. Yeah. And it's like this little tiny sweater. Mm-hmm. So they grow really quick and really big and really quick.
Yeah, because there's basically a guy creeping around trying to find some baby pups.
Yes.
All right. Because they have to experiment with that, and they're growing big, and they're also finding dead bodies in the sewer come up as well, too. So that's when we bring in the detective. All right, for our story over here, Detective David Madison. All right, he's the one pretty much trying to figure out why all these dead bodies parts are coming up in the sewer. All right, so basically that's the whole kind of point. So basically what they're doing is after they have experimented on these puppy dogs, all the dead fetuses, the guy's basically throwing them into the sewer. All right. So it's implied by that alligator that was flushed down the sewer many, many moons ago has been feeding on these chemically enhanced dog fetuses to become the big giant shark monster or alligator monster itself. All right. So they were saying also, too, after a while, the project was abandoned because while the former had the desired effects to make the animals larger than normal, it also had the unwanted side effects of massively increasing the animal's metabolism. All right? So basically, yeah. So basically, the bigger they make the dogs, the hungrier the dogs come, and that's why they've been attacking everybody. All right?
Right, but...
Yeah.
They seem to still be doing it because the guy's still kidnapping animals off the streets.
Yeah, well, basically they're trying to do it in like a different way where they're trying to grow them, but not have it where the metabolism is so big. All right.
Oh, I see. I got you. Okay, yeah. Fair enough.
So apparently, it basically was a 12-year process for this alligator to grow. It spanned from 1968 to about 1980. All right. Mm-hmm. So it grew to be about 36 foot and 11 meters monster with an almost impenetrable hide. All right.
Yeah. So although I was going to ask you this, so like on my second watch through, So the alligator grows during the movie, right? Like it doesn't start off at 36 feet. Because remember, Robert Forster at one point says, talks about how its size, and then one of the other characters says, well, it's larger than you said it was, and he's like, well, it's bigger now. So like it's grown in the time that this movie takes place as well.
Yeah.
Right. So it grows quick. And I think that's the point they're making is it bioaccumulates all this hormones and shit and just grows really quick. It's like mutates sort of.
Yeah. Over that year, because when they go, so basically how it works is they are noticing, David, is that there's a lot of sewer workers being bodies missing and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the story is he goes down there with his partner. All right. After acquiring, why did he get a dog? David, like that was such a little small part of the story. Like they didn't even kidnap his dog or anything.
No, the only thing I can think of is it gives him a reason to care about these dogs being missing. Although he's really investigating the sewer workers.
Yeah.
But like he cares about these dogs being missing, which makes him mad. So the only about the experiments on the dogs. So the only thing I can think of is that's why he got a dog. But I have a feeling that's something that John Sayles added to the film.
Yeah, to make it
for character development.
I thought it was gonna like they were gonna kidnap his dog, but they never did.
That never happened. Right? Exactly.
All right, so basically, David and a young officer named Kelly. All right, they go down to the sewer and start searching for clues of what's going on with all these dead sewer workers down here. Okay.
Yeah.
And apparently when they were down there, they get attacked by the big alligator, and Madison kind of blacks out a little bit. And he tells everybody that he believes that they were attacked by a huge alligator. But of course, nobody believes the story because alligators can't survive in the sewer without sunlight, according to Maria.
And there's no alligators in Missouri.
Yes. All right. Come on, Missouri. You don't guys got no alligators. What do you think you are, Florida?
Except for the one that Marissa brought back from Florida.
Yeah. She's like, well, I had a baby alligator. She never realized that was her alligator, did she?
I guess not. Like, I think that's really strange that they use that she's a character in this movie because it's like, because I don't know. It's like, so it's her alligator.
Yeah.
And then she's like, well, it never technically says that, but you're supposed to assume that it's her alligator, right? That it grew up in 12 years or whatever. But yeah, she never puts two and two together, I guess, and figures out that, my dad flushed an alligator 12 years ago, and now there's an alligator in the sewers. Could they be the same? I don't know.
So we have Slade, who is the mastermind behind the illegal experiments. He basically wants all this stuff, not put out to the papers and stuff. So they basically have a tabloid reporter, Thomas Kemp, all right, one of the banes of Madison's existence, goes snooping around the sewers because basically Thomas Kemp is writing a story on Madison saying that he lost two partners, all right. The first partner that Madison lost was basically just like a heist where the guy basically really didn't have a gun, but he threatened to kill Madison, so Madison froze, and then the robber took Madison's gun and actually killed his partner. And then, of course, we have this story where supposedly Madison's partner died from a quote-unquote big alligator. Brother, I don't see it with my own two eyes, so it ain't real. Mm-hmm. All right? So that's what the tabloid guy is. And now you can tell that the whole police force and stuff is now like kind of like being very skeptical about David. Because they're reading the story and they're putting alligators around him like he's just a crazy man. All right. So they also, too, him and the police chief, they go visit Maria. And Maria, this is when she was all like, well, first of all, here's David's pickup line. He's all like, what's up, kid? And she's all like, well, I'm not a kid. He's like, if you're younger than me, that means you're a fucking kid. And all I could think of was, that's totally an Alison line. All right. It's like,
maybe
what's up,
maybe
kid?
that's not something I would say, but I don't really think that would.
Well,
work,
apparently he got some pussy out of it, so maybe you should start saying
it
them
worked for him. It worked for him.
I could not believe that. I was like, what in the John Carpenter am I watching right now, where this old guy is getting this young girl because he fucking called her a child?
Right. Well,
Was Robert Forster a sex icon during this time with his receding hairline?
So what? Probably. I mean, the same way Tom Atkins was. I mean, Tom Atkins got all the pussy.
So I was thinking about that for a second. Like the story was kind of similar to Halloween 3, where Tom Atkins was like, you know, they were going on an investigation with the main girl, and they just so happened to hook up. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly. But you know, like one thing too, I wanted to point out since you mentioned it, like you should be careful talking about how Robert Forster is an old man in this movie, because in this movie he's younger than either one of us right now.
That's true.
He's 39 years old.
I thought he was 40 in this movie. Well, I guess he was counting.
No, he's 39. He was born in 1941, so he was 39 when this movie was made.
There you go. We'll see. That's all right. See, when you get older like that, we're all just sex icons then. You know what I mean?
Yep. That's what I've found.
I'm gonna start using his lines. I'm just to go up to every chick. What's up?
Hey, kid.
Hey, kid. All right. So now basically the whole police force is not really believing him and stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Until the tabloid guy hears about the story about the alligator and is going to go investigate himself of what's going on in the sewers. So he goes down there. He's creeping around, and he eventually gets attacked and killed by the alligator. Okay. So because of this, now the force is like, okay, well, we're going to do an operation to kind of like flush out this alligator. Okay. To see if it's real or not.
Sure.
All right. So this is when they bring back Maria. You know what I mean? And this is when we can see more character developing of David and Maria. You know, flirting back and forth with each other. All right. We even have the mayor. All right. Is involved with this. And basically they do the whole operation where they think the alligator could be cornered. They do the whole thing. They got the guns ablazing, and basically nobody could find the alligator. So everybody thought that it's just kind of like just a big hoax. You know what I mean? That it's not real. It just basically this David guy's, you know, he's crazy. So now even the mayor and everything wants Madison taken away from the force. All right. But at this time, this is when Maria and Madison were kind of like, you know, they're thinking that this could, you know, it could happen because when they looked at the photographs while the tabloid guy, all right, was getting killed, Maria was like, yeah, that's definitely an alligator. But it's so crazy. Like, you know, it's like, she's like, is this possibly an alligator? He's like, no, this is definitely an alligator. All right.
So the reason I think this is funny is because one, the guy took amazingly clear photographs while being attacked by an alligator. And two, it shows the pictures in the movie, and it's clearly a fucking alligator. Like, it shows a picture of the alligator's head, and our reptile expert's like, yep, it's definitely an alligator. I'm like, well, I'm glad you're here to tell us these things.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you're here. All right. So basically, they're kind of like, Maria and Dave, they kind of know that there's something going weird, fishy over here, even from the failed experiment here. So they kind of like hold on. So basically, it was. Hold on a second. So during all this stuff, when they're doing this is when they basically, expel David. And this is when Maria is kind of like having the, because when they're doing their own investigation, they found a couple of those dog carcasses down there. So they're kind of putting two to two together, like saying like, okay, this might have something to do with the growth of the alligator. All right.
Right.
So during this time, the alligator actually went to a different portion of the sewer, and we have some kids that were playing some baseball out in the streets. And this is when the alligator pops out of the street, and then it starts attacking some of the people.
This scene is amazing.
Yeah, well,
like this is the famous scene for this movie. Well, they do the shaky camera like the alligator's like causing an earthquake or whatever.
Yeah.
But this looked fucking fantastic when it popped up out of the sidewalk and bust the sidewalk men up, and like that looked fucking fantastic.
So all the kids go away. Yeah.
With that.
So the kids basically kind of like hide and go away. One of them even gets a butter knife for some reason. All right, but I like the cop where the cops is driving and one of the kids like freaks him out, so he just crashes. All right, and then he has a choice. He can either burn to death in the car or get eaten by a huge alligator. He goes for option B, where he gets out of the car and gets eaten by a big alligator. So I thought that part was pretty freaky.
Well, you got to take your chance, right? Yep. You got to get out of the burning car. And then run from this giant alligator, but it's quick. Alligators are fast. I don't know if you know that. I mean, faster than this animatronic alligator would lead you to believe.
Yep. So this is when we meet Colonial Brock. All right, played by Henry Silva, and I think he was the guy on the reporter guy making those weird sounds about the alligators. These are their mating calls. So,
because he's a big game hunter.
Yeah. So he wants to, obviously he wants to have this alligator part of his collection. All right.
Yes.
So his plan was he goes to the hood. He buys some of these dudes some Budweiser. And be like, hey, I'll pay you all $10 an hour if you help me find this alligator. And then one guy's like, I want 20. And he's all like, ha ha ha, no. All right. So they go look around the hood. They eventually find the alligator hanging out by some trash bags. He's like, all right, guys, when you play chess, all your pawns have to come with you. And they're like, we're not coming with you. And then he makes another joke, and then he leaves, and then one guy actually follows him. So he's there with his rifle. He's about to be shooting the alligator, but then it cuts back, and then he's in the alligator's mouth being devoured.
Yeah. Because we don't have the... budget for that, so it just cuts back to it cuts away, and then all of a sudden he's in. Well, they have to switch the actor with a dummy, right? So they have to cut away to do that. So
I did.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
I did think that part was semi funny when they just.
But that looked really good too. That like once they switch it to the scene where he's in the alligator's mouth.
Yeah,
I thought the alligator looked really good. Like the guys inside were moving it to where it looked fairly realistic, and I thought it looked great at that point.
Yeah. And then we do have all the police officers are still confused about what's going on. Because the alligator right now is moving in rapid fashion. Where he even shows up in a young boy's birthday pool. And they make him walk the plank. And then he jumps in there. And then their blood. He eats the kid. So that part was pretty creepy too.
Yes.
All right. So after all this, they now find that the alligator is in the lake. So they try to use boats to stop it. But guess what? It don't work.
That doesn't work.
The alligator actually uses its body to... The boat was like going like this and uses its body, and they ran into the body, so the boat goes up and it flips. They all fall out of the boat, but then the boat that has grenades in it gets into shore. One of their grenades just so happens to go off, and the whole boat blows up. All right.
And also, like, before this happens, they're shooting at it with a machine gun, but can't hit it at all.
Not at all.
I thought this looked pretty good, like with the alligator in the water. I mean, obviously, it's just a rubber alligator that you're pulling through the water, but it looked decent for, the scenes that we're seeing.
Yeah, it kills one of the guys, devours him. And then the other guy, we have our Jaws moment, where he uses the Jaws cam to go to the guy's legs. And while he's being pulled up by the other boat, the alligator devours the legs. So that part's pretty creepy too. Like I said, if you think about it, the movie had some creepy, disturbing scenes, but it's not like scary. It's not like super serious. You know what I mean?
Right. Exactly.
All right. So now, this is when Maria and our boy David's relationship gets a little serious, because they're basically on the hunt now to figure out. We know this alligator's real.
Mm-hmm.
We know that we can figure this out, but you know what we're gonna do? You know what we're gonna do first? I'm gonna bring this girl back to my crib.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be like, you know what? When I first met you, I thought you were an asshole, some kid. And she's all like, well, I thought you were just I thought you'd be a guy who would have this kind of apartment. And then he's all like, ouch. He's like, okay. He's all like, but guess what? What's going to happen right now is I'm going to take you to dinner, and I don't want you to leave. I want you to come back. So I'm just getting this out here right now, just in case I'm not thinking about it all the time at dinner. And then she just goes up and kisses him. He's all like, I guess I got my answer. And I was like, damn. We're going to start taking some tips over here from our boy, David. All right, just being blunt about everything. And next thing I know, they didn't even go to dinner. We just see the after scenes of them fucking. And then she's touching his hair, saying, what are you doing? She's like touching his hair, like to kind of cover up his bald spot. He was like, I got male pattern baldness. I can't help it. And then she's like, I like it. All right. And I was like, man.
There you go.
Where is these 1980s women at, brother? Super easy. You don't have to do anything. All right, you just show up.
If you're Robert Forster, that guy's smooth as hell, dude.
Smooth brother. Smooth operator. All right. So now they're a couple, like Tom Atkins and that chick from Halloween 3. Except this girl didn't end up being a fembot, so. All right. Yes. So there you go. So now they're on the hunt because they hear about the alligator attacking everything. So now after the whole big lake scene, David and Maria is like David's like, I bet I know where they're going next. I bet they're going to go to those rich people. And guess what? They're now at this rich person's house. The guy who was doing all the dog experiments. All right. What's his name? Slade. All right. A company CEO. Yeah. All right. He's also doing, we also had the mayor there, Mayor Lude, because they're in it together. The mayor and, of course, the mayor and the top CEO guy are in cahoots together, of course. All right. So they're together at this party. And like I said, the Slade and all this stuff, his main purpose was to keep his company out of the newspaper of them basically creating this alligator. Because Slade knows that they were disregarding the experimental dog fetuses in the sewer. But he was trying to cover that up the whole time. And the mayor was covering up the whole time. That is actually one of the big reasons of why they got David off the force. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because he was digging a little too deep there, brother. All right. So they're at this party. They're doing a bunch of rich people stuff. The house actually looked pretty familiar, but I couldn't really place it where I've seen it before. But they're basically there, and then out of nowhere, the alligator just starts attacking people. Everybody starts freaking out. They all start running, blah, blah, blah. All right. And it kills a couple of the guests. We do get a scene where it kills the mayor because Slade didn't let the mayor into the car. All right. And then eventually they try to run away, but the alligator uses its alligator tail to break down the car. And then eventually the alligator attacks Slade within there as well. All right.
So I did want to comment on this. I'm pretty sure that when the alligator is attacking the wedding party, that it's on wheels. I'm pretty sure that because you can tell like the way that they use parts of the scenery to block the bottom part of the screen. So like I'm pretty sure that they put the alligator model on wheels and just pushed it, which is how they are able to make it move so fast.
So now, after we have the alligator torturing all the guest wedding parties. All right. Yeah. Now we have David and Madison. They were there. They threaten to get inside the party. And the guy's like, well, I'm going to call the cops. He's like, please do. So they go inside the party. They eventually lure the alligator back into the sewer. Mm-hmm. Maybe they use some cheese.
Maybe.
All right. So they go down there. And now the plan is they have some explosions. And the plan is... David is going to, Murray's kind of distracting the alligator, and while David puts out the explosions. Okay? So, basically, they're sitting around the explosions and stuff. All right? And they kind of got the alligator cornered. Maria goes back up to the front. David's now trying to get back up to the surface. But can't because there's an old lady who stopped by a garbage truck and she's right underneath the sewer. And eventually Maria sees it, tells this old lady to get the fuck out of the way. She's like, I can't. There's the garbage truck there.
Then back up then, she
and
said.
then back up, and then the old lady is like, she couldn't get it at all. So she eventually just pushes that old lady to the side and gets the car out.
I thought that was a really cool scene because it adds this element of suspense, because he's going to get out and he's going to get out of the sewer, blow the alligator up, but then the lady pulls on top of the manhole cover and he can't get out. Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. That was a pretty cool scene.
Yeah. So she eventually gets out, and it was right about the last second. Like, they only had like 6 minutes to go. David gets on out of there. The whole thing blows up. The alligator blows up. The whole sewer system blows up. A car randomly blows up too. All right.
Yes.
All right. So now we have this threat of the alligator has been seized. We have David and Maria relaxing with each other. Mm-hmm. Then we get the end credit of another alligator falling in the deadly Missouri sewer.
And then it starts all over again.
And it starts all over again with number 2, direct-to-home video.
Direct-to-home video 10 years later. But one thing that was weird about watching this time is like when the alligator, every time the alligator pops up, I just keep saying, hey, it's Ramon.
Yeah.
And like the alligator's named Ramon now to me. And I just think that's hilarious. Like Ramon the alligator.
Ramon the alligator. You can't beat him. All right. So there you go, everybody. The full review of Alligator. Not bad. You know what I mean? Pretty good action. Pretty good action movie. Good acting. Some good funny lines. I'd say it's a pretty good rotation there. Speaking of good rotation, like I said, we're doing a full month here in July of deadly animal creatures haunting your horror nightmares. Because the full schedule. Let me pull it up over here. Here we go. We have up next, we are going to the 1990s direct-to-home video where we'll be doing Alligators 2, The Mutation.
Yeah.
Then we'll be traveling back to the 80s doing a movie called Deadly Eyes.
Yes.
And of course, we're going to be ending this month with The Razorback.
Yeah. It's about a giant hog.
Yeah, there you go. Giant hog, brother. All right.
This is going to be awesome. It's a good month.
Yeah. It's a good old month of killer animals in July. You know what I mean? It's hot out there. All right. The summertime is in effect. That all these animals are out creeping around. Mutated animals.
Yeah.
All right. So that's what it is. So,
I bet you, I'm going to say this in advance because I haven't watched the movie yet. For Alligator 2, The Mutation, coming next week.
Yeah.
I'm going to say in advance that I bet it's not going to be as good as this movie.
Oh, yeah, definitely not.
But we'll see. We'll see.
Direct to home video, brother. We'll see how it goes. Hey, you never know. Maybe I'll have some good old fun stuff in there.
Maybe.
But we'll be doing that next week. But everybody, thanks for joining us on another exciting edition of the Retro Blood. Like and subscribe here on YouTube. Like us, Podbeam, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Let us know how we're doing. RetroBlood69@gmail if you want to send in some of your thoughts or your stories about these movies. If you want to comment on Alison's cat. All right. But we will be back here.
He likes being around me.
He likes it. But, since we started off a little late, we'll try to do about 2 episodes maybe on back-to-back to kind of catch up. But everybody look forward to when we return. We will be doing Alligator 2. All right. We'll see how it goes. Mutation. Let's see how it goes. It's going to be a fun one. But everybody, J.H. Alison, James Kline. We'll see you here all next week on the Retro Blood.
See you guys.